Joe Rogan is sick of leftists going more left and left. I thought this video was really good, so without further ado, check it out.
Over time, this is what we're seeing. So over time, you and I, who used to be on the left, are now like, where's the left? Where are you guys? You guys are so far away. I can't even see you. You're out of your mind. You're chopping dicks off and giving little kids hormone blockers. You have no idea what the long-term consequences are. You're ignoring the health risks. You won't even talk about the health risks. You use things like gender-affirming care. What are you saying? What are you saying when you're talking about children? Why are you just accepting this? Because it's a noble thing to blurt out, so everybody goes, you're on the right team. That's what it is. It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to kids? It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to San Francisco? It's not like, oh my God, why are we letting these violent criminals out of jail? It's like, oh my God, why are we defunding the police? What are you doing? You can't say any of those things. If you say any of those things, you're a Nazi. Austin people are great people. They're really nice. They're nice. They're not heads. They're not Hollywood people. They're not lost in this fake world of leftist ideology that everybody's trapped in. They're just people. They're just regular people, man. And those people exist outside of these blue bubbles where everyone's gone insane. Well, I used to be a part of the blue bubble. I was 100% a left-leaning person who lived in Los Angeles. I was 100%. I never voted Republican my whole life. I was very left-leaning, especially with like any social issues. When it comes to financial things, I'm a little bit more conservative, but at the end of the day, I'm way more left than I am right. But California went nuts, man. It's gone like full communist. It's out of its mind. And their approach to law enforcement is so insane. It's so insane. The no cash bail, the letting people out for committing violent crimes, the not stopping people for stealing up to whatever money it is. What is it, $900 now? I think they raised it. I think they made it a little higher. San Francisco is non-existent. Most of San Francisco is emptied out of like big chain stores and big department stores.
I won't even do stand-up there anymore.
It's crazy.
They ruined it.
They ruined the city. I mean, you can bring it back. The structure's still there. But you'd have to have some hardcore Rudy Giuliani type motherfucker come in there and knock heads.
Wow.
And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. They're peace, love, and granola and fucking wear a mask.
I'm in the middle now.
I'm in the middle.
I never thought I would ever say that.
Never.
It only happened in this last year.
Right, exactly.
I just went, I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? People that you thought were aligned with you are like now like mad at you about
They're in a cult. It's got all, I mean, Mark Andreessen, who's a brilliant venture capitalist guy, explained it to me in very clear terms, like what the definition of a cult is, how you can get excommunicated, how you get shamed for having differing opinions, the group think, he's like, it's a cult. And he's right. He's 100% right. It's just hard to say because then people in the cult will attack you. But they're not attacking you for a reasonable, it's not logical, like the way they're attacking you. They're attacking like someone attacks religious beliefs. And some of these religious beliefs, it gets into these weird gray areas, like trans people in women's bathrooms. Like, says who? Says who? How do you know that's a real trans person? How do you not know that's a creep that wants to pull his dick out in front of kids? Because those are real.
Spa.
And if that guy was a convicted sex offender. And he was doing that. Look, those guys are real. It doesn't mean trans people aren't real also, but those guys are real. And to even say that those guys are real, you get excommunicated. You get treated like you're a Nazi.
So at the end of the day, the basis of this video, basically what Joe Rogan is saying is it used to be that liberals and conservatives would look at each other and they'd be like, you know what? I disagree with what you're saying, but you know what? Like I kind of get where you're coming from. I could see why you'd maybe say that. And hey, we just disagree. But that's not how it is nowadays. You literally have liberals hate conservatives and say that they're evil straight up. It's not like a you're wrong, it's a you're evil. And now liberals believe in castrating children, baby sacrifice, no borders, like all these things that Joe Rogan brings up. So it's not like it was before. It's a lot more good versus evil rhetoric than just simply you're wrong. And honestly, I do think that's a problem. If you look at a lot of debates, I recently talked about the debate between Ben Shapiro and Destiny. And Destiny is no progressive, by the way. He's just a liberal. You look at, hey, like Destiny, I don't agree with him, but he's actually kind of normal. Like, I kind of understand where he's coming from. His stuff is pretty reasonable, even though I think he's wrong. But you go to the far left, which is what Joe Rogan is talking about, and it's like, I can't even begin to agree with you. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you just believe that all babies should just be murdered if it means that the sexual gratification of someone is fulfilled? Or, oh yeah, you just believe that, kids have the right to just be chemically castrated despite, Big Pharma having tons of money to be made off of them in advertising for it and pushing them to do it. So I see what he's saying. And it really is a good versus evil in a way that it just wasn't before. Really quick, before we continue on this analysis and showing some more stuff about Joe Rogan, I do want to talk about the sponsor of this video, Gulag America. Guys, I've been talking about Gulag America now for literally months and months. If you haven't gone and checked out their website, do it right now. It is at gulagamerica.com. They're a patriotic apparel brand. I'll pop up some of their stuff right now so you can see what I'm talking about. They've got stuff for men. They've got stuff for women. They have stuff for the warm and the cold months. If you're like me and it's really cold, you love your hoodies and long sleeves, they've got them. So go check them out at gulagamerica.com. Use my code JoshCarr10 and you will get 10% off. Another thing that Joe Rogan really highlights in this clip is something that I'm also very frustrated by with the left, which, by the way, I believe that there should be a balance on the left and the right. I believe that the right should win most of the time, but I do think that there is a balance to be had. So I'm not like calling for the eradication of, liberal ideology, but something that really frustrates me is it used to be considered a liberal principle to have free speech. Free speech is a liberal principle. It is a right. Therefore, it is literally liberal. Like that is what it is. And the left doesn't believe in that anymore. They literally will not debate you. They won't have a conversation with you. And this is kind of what I mean by the good versus evil rather than just the you're wrong. Because if you believe someone's wrong, you're probably willing to have a conversation with them and try to convince them that, what they're talking about is just not lining up with reality. But if you believe they're evil and that they know that they're wrong and they're just actively trying to do something evil, there's no point in conversating with them. There's no point in persuading them. And that's what liberal elites have been trying to do for so long. They don't want liberals or progressives to debate with conservatives because they're scared that if they do, they're going to find out that, a lot of what's going on right now is total crap from the left. People on the right are not perfect by any means, but they're definitely more open to talking and conversing than people on the left. That just full stop. If you look at a liberal political commentator and you see him be like, hey, that right-wing guy, I want to debate him, you'll usually see it like immediately because people on the right are very confident in their views. If you look at people on the right, however, and they're in their podcast and they're like, oh yeah, that guy, I want to debate him, let's do it. It doesn't happen. And it's not because the right-wing guy doesn't want to reach out to them. They always do. They talk about it openly. But left-wing people just rarely are open to it. And and let me be clear, there are some that are, and I give them props where props are due. Joe Rogan's a great example of kind of this new breed of liberals who are escaping this cult mentality. They're kind of just looking around and they're like, this is creepy, what's going on? And usually this happens, a lot of these people are kind of being brought out of the fogginess of the progressive cult when they see what's going on with kids. And I think that's what's really, that combined with the free speech issues that the left has really been what's brought Joe Rogan out of kind of that fog. But thank goodness for Joe Rogan, because at the end of the day, this is a fight between conservatives and progressives, and elections do matter. And unfortunately, we're seeing more and more trends where young people are actually going towards the left. And can you really blame them? You have free college, subsidized housing, robbing a store with new consequences. It's like, that sounds pretty good for young people. But Joe Rogan luckily has a very young audience. So as he moves away from progressives, I'm not even talking he moves towards Republicans. I'm just saying he moves away from those hard progressives like the Squad, like Bernie Sanders, and starts talking about, Tulsi Gabbard and Ron DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy, people who just make sense. Then hopefully the young people will, fall into those categories as well. And hopefully Joe Rogan can be a good push for conservatives, despite him not even being really conservative himself. It just goes to show how left the left has gone. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you got a little bit of value or entertainment out of it, please go down below and subscribe. Comment what you thought about this video if you disagree or agree with me. I love interacting with you guys in the comments, so I'll always respond. Unless your comment's really weird, then I probably won't respond. No hard feelings, but sometimes I get stupid comments. I'm not going to respond to them. But stay tuned for the next video. Probably be dropping it on Tuesday. Thanks, guys.